the Minnesota Vikings having the NFC North Division secured at 11-3 and also being guaranteed no worse than the 3 seed in the NFC, the Vikings, for the final 3 games of the regular season, they have to strike a balancing act between being competitive. Also, since the Vikings would love to maintain the 2 seed, there's still an outside chance that they could get the 1 seed from the Eagles if the Eagles fall flat on their face. And with Jalen Hurts being injured and missing time, that could potentially be the case. But also, they have to balance that with resting veterans and getting them right, and also injured players that have minor nicks and bruises to get them ready for the playoffs so this team can make a push and try and make it to the Super Bowl and hoist that Jerome for the first time 12 times in the next 10 years. And the Vikings host the Giants this Saturday in the regular season finale on Christmas Eve, the whiteout. Woo! And then you're at Green Bay, and then you're at Chicago. Now, this game, Week 17 game, could mean everything for the Packers and also F them straight into the sun, but then the Week 18 game against the Bears could also be completely moot because the Vikings, like we said, are currently the 2 seed, 11-3, a game ahead of the Niners. Now, they have to stay a game ahead because the Niners would have the first tiebreaker with the better conference record. And you do have the Philadelphia Eagles, who, if they lose their next 3, would it be, and the Vikings win out, they would have the Vikings would have the 1 seed at 14-3. The Eagles would be at 13-4. And yes, the Vikings do need to be a game clear of the Eagles because they have the head-to-head. But there could be a spot where the Vikings, if the Niners drop one of these next 2 games, the Vikings win their next 2, where Week 18 could be completely meaningless. Or it could be a spot where maybe head coach Kevin O'Connell's sort of okay with the 3 seed, even though it could potentially cost him a home game in the divisional round, but that's looking too far ahead. He did address things with the media on Monday. Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gerbschmidt. With the NFC North clinch, Kevin O'Connell said the priority is having a healthy team and having the best possible version of our team when we do get to the playoffs. He said the team is still on the hunt for improvement, which requires playing, but O'Connell said that seeking improvement does not mean that snap counts do not need to be monitored. There are some banged-up players with high snap counts, he said. Had some young players who could use some game reps for development. So it does sound like Kevin O'Connell is sort of whatever at this point. I think that if the chances of the 1 seed evaporate, sure. Also, it would be nice if the Niners dropped a game or 2. But a couple of Vikings veterans who should get some rest, as well as who should replace them. So Dalvin Cook. So, I mean, Dalvin, knocking on all the wood, has a chance to play his first complete regular season in his career, which would be amazing. And Dalvin, I mean, obviously the major plays in the Colts game shows that he still got it. But King Kene, Alexander Madison, Ty Chandler, if he's activated off of his 21-day window, would like to see them get a little bit more work at running back. Wide receiver Adam Thielen. So a little bit of age, a little bit of ankle, a little bit of everything, where it just seems like the last couple of years Thielen's always been dealing with something. But he's still on his game, man. But having KJ or Jalen Reagor or even a guy like rookie Jalen Speedy Naylor getting some work would make some sense there. Center Garrett Bradbury, who's missed the last 2 games with a back injury. Schlutman's filled in fine, but not rushing Bradbury back, who's played extremely well this season. But getting him back off his back. There we go. Defensive end, Diesel Dalvin Thompson. Now, this is a little bit of veteran rest, as well as he dealt with a calf injury that cost him a couple games in the middle of the season. Plus, I mean, I'd love to see what Osezi Otomawo can do in his spot, because Osezi played extremely well in the game against the Colts. Both as James Lynch was dinged up, plus you do Patrick Jones second missed with a illness. And then you got Za'Darius Smith. So Za'Darius really has been the straw that stirs the drink on the Vikings defense. You have him getting after the passer. He's leading the team in pressures, but he's been dealing with a knee injury, contusion all season long. Also factor in age, and then also getting Patrick Jones second, DJ Wanham, and even rookie UDFA Luigi Villain. Getting them a couple snaps makes sense. And with Danielle Hunter, who popped up on the injury with a neck, on the injury report with a neck injury, if he needs some rest, absolutely get him some as well. Then you have the 2 off-ball linebackers. Jordan Hicks has been dealing with an ankle, also up there in age. Would love to see Brian Asamoah get some more run. He had a career-high 21 snaps against the Colts, played extremely well. And then you got Eric Kendricks, who's dealing with a hip contusion, as well as you factor in age. And then on the bench, you do have guys like Troy Dye, as well as Willen Kwenku, the UDFA tryout linebacker who's on the 53, who I like a lot. And then quarterback Patrick Peterson, you got age. And now the prevailing wisdom is that Cameron Dancer is going to be over his illness, and he'll start on the opposite side. You do have Duke Shelley, who played 100% of the snaps against the Colts and played extremely well. Would love to have him get some more outside cornerback snaps. And then safety Harrison Smith dealt with a neck injury, missed him against the Lions. You have age factoring in there, and then you have Theo Jackson, Josh Metellus, maybe even Miles Dorn on the practice squad, looking to get some more snaps there. So since I'm always right, so this is what the Vikings should do. 100% try to win the final 3 games. So you got the Giants, you got the greasy grimy Green Bay Packers, you got the Bears. Now, you have to factor in the Vikings playoff seedings as well as momentum heading into the playoffs, but also you have to balance it. And as long as playoff seeding is up in the air, as long as the 1 seed is open, like say the Eagles lose to the Cowboys this week, and then obviously you want to beat the Packers because it could potentially keep you on pace for the 1 seed, or if the Niners drop a game or 2 and it's pretty clear that you end up the 2 seed, that's perfectly fine. But you should also be reducing snaps for some veteran players. Now, hard pitch count, maybe not, but also just being very cognizant of, hey, we're going to start rotating a couple of these guys out. So maybe Dalvin doesn't get as many touches in the middle of the game. Maybe Thielen is subbed out. Maybe Za'Darius is subbed out. Maybe Kendricks and Hicks, same thing. But yeah, maybe you do it in the middle of the game. Remove some snaps. The Vikings are winning comfortably. You don't have to put them back in. If the game is pretty close, maybe see what happens. Who knows? And then going backwards, completely rest if seeding is set. So if say the Niners drop a couple games, kind of far-fetched, but if it does happen, that's fine. Or if the Vikings somehow, some way do lose a game and the Niners keep on winning and the Eagles win one, I mean, then if you're stuck in the 3 seed, you're stuck in the 3 seed. But you would have the benefit that, hey, completely rest these players, like completely shut them down, have them inactive on game day, play the backups, play the young guys who need some reps, especially heading into the playoffs. Yes, 100% do that. But also, 1,000% have Justin freaking Jefferson go for the record. But in part and parcel with that is don't play Kirk behind a backup offensive line, because that's just don't do that. But having Jefferson go for the record, I mean, it makes sense, man. It makes sense. Where you're still going to try to win. Jefferson does have a legitimate chance at the single season receiving record. It would be an amazing accomplishment. But at the same time, too, you do have Kevin O'Connell talking about all the shots that Jefferson has been taking. And you have to monitor if teams are going to be headhunting for JJ going forward, which it's also very possible. But we'll take it one game at a time. Right now, you're playing to win the game against the 8-5-1 Giants, who are champing at the bit. They're looking to secure their spot in the playoffs. This could be a playoff preview down the line for the Vikings and the Giants, so can't take them lightly. Now, I'm not saying that they should completely rest the veterans this game, but say the Vikings win, the Niners lose, and the Eagles win. So the Vikings 1 seed dreams are gone, and then they have 2 games of cushion between them and the Niners for the 2 seed. Maybe you start resting some guys against the Packers. And then if the Vikings win, beat the Packers, or if the Niners don't keep pace and you're stuck in the 2 seed, no matter what, week 18, rest everyone. But we'll go from there. But your thoughts are thoughts. Should the Vikings be resting their veterans towards the end of the regular season? Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.